What's up, guys? It's your girl, Alexandria Ikamoni, in the studio, iHeartRadio, with Devale and Khadeen Ellis. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. How about you?
Amazing.
Doing well. Happy to have you guys in studio.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here. I mean, being a part of the iHeart family, it only makes sense, right?
Hello. The
Yes.
best stop on the press tour, I can say so myself.
Talk about it.
Of course.
But we're so happy to have you guys. We all love you. We all see the work you guys do. Radiant couple doing amazing things. And I know we're here to talk about primarily one thing, but we're going to talk about a lot today quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we want to start off with the podcast, of course. It's being rebranded, a new name, a new feel. Tell us more about it and what's the new vision for the podcast, because it's been around for a long time.
It has.
Yeah, we're going on 7 years now.
7 years. 16 seasons that we're recording now.
Yeah.
Over 200 episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A Webby Award.
Yes.
Sold out tours.
Yeah.
At first, we felt like it was time.
Yeah.
You know, when we were looking at the podcast space, it started out for us as jest. You know, two friends who happen to be married, just joking on each other about what it's like being a husband and a wife in a marriage.
Yeah.
And what we noticed over time was that conversation kind of went on a tangent. And now the whole internet is talking about the 50-50 man versus woman. So Kadine and I kind of like, we don't want to be a part of that conversation because we work better together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's change things up a little bit. So we was like, what would the podcast space look like after? You know, since now we're happily ever after. Oh, wait. What about Ellis ever after?
Yes.
And that's how the rebrand came around.
It did.
Yeah.
And I mean, with Deadass doing it for so many seasons and so many years in that capacity, the conversations grew.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Khadeen and Devale season 1, 2, 3 even are not Khadeen and
Same
Devale you see
people.
now.
Right.
So it feels like the natural elevation for us. And to be quite honest, after our last sold out tour, Love Against the World, last February, we were ready to kind of
That was supposed to be it.
retire the mics and end the podcast.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of ending on a high note, right?
Of course.
We felt like we did everything that we needed to do in the podcast
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And after polling some supporters of ours, they were like, absolutely not.
Yeah, they were like,
You
nah.
guys need to get it together.
Right. It's like, who told you to do that?
No one asked for this. No one asked for this. So then we're like, all right, if we do it, how can we elevate the experience for our listeners and our viewers? Because we are so in debt to the people who listen to
We
us
are.
every single week.
Truthfully.
And they deserve to have some excellent content. So yeah, Ellis Ever After is going to show the progression, the elevation. We've also added in some staples who have always been a part of our podcast family. So Tribble, our producer, Josh and Matt, who do all of our content, are now going to be on the show as well to give their 2 cents as well about different topics. So it's going to be a really, really good time.
Yeah.
I love it. And we're talking about topics. What are we focusing on? I know you mentioned, you know, the progression and what conversations you want to be a part of.
Yes.
But if you could put into words, what are the topics that we primarily want to focus on?
Supporting generational wealth and what that looks like. You know, this is an intergenerational podcast. We talk about generational trauma from our parents that have been passed down to us, that we are now trying to not pass down to our children.
Yeah.
So now the conversation we want to shift, and we don't want to do the bickering. Let's talk about communicating properly and how we can build better as people.
Yeah. So for our people who have listened for all these years, they're still going to get the Deadass experience. We're keeping a lot of the components that have been there already. For example, story time, karaoke, moment of truth. But we do have some new segments that we're going to add in. One of Devale's favorites that he kind of came up with.
It's called Op or No Op.
Ooh.
And what it is op is opinion. So you know how you go through your listener letters or what is it? Typically, rumor mill.
Yeah.
What's going on in social
Hot
media?
topics,
Hot
yeah.
topics, right?
Yeah.
What we want to start asking people to do is ask yourself, am I educated enough to have an opinion on this topic? Yes or no? Or do I really want to? Because everyone doesn't have to have an opinion.
Yeah.
So we go through the hot topics, and it's like, do we have an opinion or no on this? And sometimes it's like, nah.
And that's valid.
Like, you know, Kanye West is getting a divorce. You have an opinion? No, I don't know what's going on in their relationship. That's not affecting me anyway, so I don't have an opinion. Pass.
Yeah.
You know, and let's start that trend.
Let's see.
You
Yeah,
know?
because so much of what we've done, I think, kind of created a blueprint for folks with podcasting, right? So we're
Yeah.
like, all right, we started this whole like battle of the sexes thing kind of
Yeah.
indirectly.
And we feel bad about
So
that.
we're like, darn, did it start here with us? I don't know, but let's try something else, something that can try to elevate everyone's life experience where we all just mind our own business.
Yeah.
How about that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's speak about the the things that we truly know about. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's going to be kind of fun.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. People will love to see it. People would want to see it. So a lot of great content is coming their way specifically. Yeah. And you're talking about minding your business, but I'm about to be all up in your business today.
That's okay.
Let's do it. It's ours.
You have an open invitation.
Yes, absolutely. Because people love knowing about your relationship specifically. And you mentioned this a little bit earlier. You talked about communication and changing that and bettering that. I remember seeing an interview from a few years ago. You guys had different communication styles to begin with. And then, found a balance, found a path that works best for you guys. Talk to me more about that and how you were able to find that balance between the two.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing was just understanding that you need empathy for whoever you're sitting across from. It doesn't matter if he's your spouse, your business partner, or sibling. You have to understand that that person is going through something just like you are.
Yeah.
A lot of times in relationships, you want to communicate by getting your point across. A large part of communication is listening. Yeah. And I think over the past 15 years of us being together, I've learned how to listen better. And I hope that people realize that. Because even when I listen to myself on the podcast, I'm like, dang, 7 years ago, I wasn't listening to anything Kay was saying. I was just trying to win the argument. Yeah. And I can go back and be like, dang, I've grown a lot from that. And I hope other people can say, wow, Devale has changed a lot.
Yeah, and echoing that sentiment, listening for sure has been a big thing for me as an active listener. But also you realize intent versus impact, right? When you communicate, it's like how you say something, the way you say it, the way it's delivered, sometimes it's not the way you intended for it to be. So the impact hits or lands on that person differently. So we've learned within our communication styles, because I grew up in a household where communication was great on a surface level, but when it came time to like disagreements or problems, a lot of it was ignored. So within our own relationship, I had to learn how to open up more. And Devale in turn said, okay, if I'm going to tell you something, my intent is this. I'm so sorry it impacted you this way. And then we talk about how maybe the message got misconstrued or was delivered in a way that was not receivable, for me.
Do you remember my biggest thing?
What was that?
I knew my intent.
Yeah.
And since I knew my intent, no matter how it impacted her, I used to make her feel like she was wrong for how it made her feel. And that's when I realized, like, you can't communicate like that. Like, I can't judge you for how what I said made you feel, make you feel less than by saying you're not supposed to feel that way. So I'm glad you brought up intent versus impact, because that really is a big one.
And then I also learned that he's not a mind reader. I'm going to have to actually vocalize and eloquently express how I feel in moments, so that way he can then understand where I'm coming from, and not defend necessarily what he said, but we can come to some kind of common ground. So we've promoted that a lot throughout our years on Deadass, and that's going to continue on in Ellis Ever After.
I love it. A lot of growth there from the two of you guys. So we appreciate it. We love
We're
it.
Trying.
Absolutely. And you're talking about like things you have learned. What would you guys say would be the biggest lesson you guys have learned in your relationship thus far?
Ooh.
The biggest lesson that I've learned.
I think for me, since we've been together since we were 18 years old, that's almost, October will be 23 years together. So growing as individuals, but also trying to do it collectively as partners was a struggle for some years. And mainly because we loved each other so much that we knew we wanted to be together. We just didn't know how to navigate that through all of life's seasons, right? So you're growing through different changes. Him retiring from the NFL, us moving back to Brooklyn, starting over, having our first child. Then it was 2 and 3 really quickly, then moving cross country, then moving. It's just all of the things that we've had to navigate within our relationship has really forced us to lock in together as a couple, to give each other grace and just know that we're going to grow and we're going to change, and we support the change and we consider each other with the change as well. And giving each other the latitude to do that has been super important, at least for me over the years, to maintain a strong and healthy relationship.
That was good. And it actually fed me into mine.
Thanks.
What it taught me was not to have a standard for what I think manhood is supposed to be based on everyone else's standards. Right? Like, I have to find out what manhood is to me first. I have to then speak to my wife and say, what does manhood look for you? And if we work on that same thing together, then that's the manhood I want to portray. In the past, it was my friends, my dad, everyone said manhood looks like this. So I have to participate in my marriage that way. And it was not working. Because that version of Devale wasn't the Devale she wanted. She wanted a different version. And then I realized that version of Devale wasn't even the version I wanted to be.
Yeah, it wasn't authentic to you.
It wasn't. So I learned how to ignore all the noise and focus on here and focus on what God has for us. And that's helped us a lot.
Yeah.
That's the biggest lesson.
Yeah, those are beautiful lessons that people honestly can really take with them and learn from, especially when they're starting off in their own relationships and navigate for sure.
And that's what the podcast has been to us. I mean, that's another reason why we were kind of, I don't want to say bullied into continuing it, but people were like, yo, you can't
we need this.
We need this. Like people will come up to us randomly and say, oh my goodness, we're so happy that you guys are continuing the podcast, or I learned this from you guys, or you saved my marriage, or you helped me speak to my spouse in a better way. Like it's just so many good moments and such positive feedback that we've gotten, and it's really just from us talking out our own life experiences.
For real. In real time. Like I used to sit back and listen to some of the podcasts and be like, dang, I didn't realize that I came across like that. And sometimes you need to hear that. You know, you're in you're in this space, you listen to yourself and you're like, wow, I didn't know I sounded like that. It's almost like a check. You know, that mirror, you hold that mirror up and you're like, all right, check yourself. Because you thought you was listening, but you wasn't listening. So
makes a lot of sense. And really quickly, I want to dive into each one of you guys, because you guys have a lot of great things going on at the moment. I mean, I would not be a journalist if I didn't ask at least about Zatima and Sisters. So first, starting off, have you guys started filming Zatima season 4?
Season 4 is completed.
Okay.
We start filming season 5 in August.
Okay.
Yes. So season 9 we just completed. We're supposed to go back and film season 10 of Sisters in end of May. So Sisters is going. It's strong. It's still the number 1 show on cable television.
Yes.
I'm excited to be Zach. I'm excited to play a character that's gone through so much change. We watched him just be an airport guy dealing with recidivism. So now he finds out he has kids and he's getting married and he's a business owner. Like, we got to watch Zach grow a little bit, so I enjoy it.
Absolutely. And speaking of working on 2 amazing shows on the same network under Tyler Perry, how has that been navigating and balancing those 2 with everything else you have going on?
I have the best job in Hollywood.
That's it.
I get to do television. Most television series these days don't get past season 2. I'm on season 9 and season 4. Also, we get to film a lot of television in a short amount of time. So I get to spend a lot of my time with my family and also building other projects. So to me, working at TPS is the best place in Hollywood.
Absolutely. Did you really expect this kind of reaction to the 2 shows that you have going on from season 1 of both?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't.
Yeah.
I did. When I read the scripts, I saw the cast. It was a very young cast that no one knew, but these were actors who trained, who particularly took exception to this opportunity and said, we're going to do something great with it. So I felt like I was a part of a really, really good cast. So I'm excited about it. And I knew it was going to be great.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of great things from your character, what can we expect in these next upcoming seasons? Give me one good, juicy thing.
You're going to see a side of Zach that you've never seen before. You'll see a vulnerability that will probably have people saying, I've never seen a man like that on television. And I was excited when I got the scripts for season 9. I'm like, y'all are taking Zach through something we've never seen on television, a man go through, and it's grief. Right? How do you lose something when you don't even know what it's like to have it? So we get to see a chance to see Zach go through that.
I love that. A lot of powerful stuff coming up with the character. So super excited about that. Also have to talk about Meet Me Next Christmas. That was my favorite movie.
Talk about it.
I mean, it might be next to our son Dakota. Our 3-year-old calls it Daddy Movie.
It's Daddy Movie.
And Daddy Movie is still in rotation.
It is.
In April.
Hello.
Okay.
Who cares if it's springtime? That doesn't matter. Can we expect a part? Like, would you be on for a 2 if they?
I would definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I know we've spoken
so.
to the producers, Netflix. They loved it. It did extremely well. It was number 1 amongst all his Christmas movies. So hopefully I get back in there. Christina, Pentatonics. I hope y'all listening.
That would be great.
It was just a movie.
Just me watching as his wife, seeing him in relationships on these shows with his castmates and his love interest. I feel like him and Christina had such an electric chemistry.
The kiss. A lot of people talked about the kiss.
The best chemistry that I've ever seen with him and a castmate, and it's been with him and Christina.
Absolutely. And we loved it. We love to see it. So we're hoping for number 2.
Come
Netflix,
on, y'all.
everybody. Let's make it happen.
Throwing it out there.
Yes. Now, Kadine, you are also an actress.
Yes, ma'am.
And a little birdie told me you have some TV projects coming up.
Listen, sis. So, I was afforded an amazing opportunity recently.
I can't say nothing and I won't.
I know.
I'm going to close my mouth and my eyes.
I know. Close your mouth and your eyes, Devale, because I took the past 15 years of life to grow our family. Physically, emotionally, all the things, right? Being at home, being active.
It's not easy.
And this is one of my biggest dreams come true. Going to school for broadcasting undergrad, and then in my master's, speech communication, performance, and
rhetoric. Don't just say going to school. She graduated.
Masters. Yeah, come on now.
Thank you, husband.
Yes, ma'am. She does this. I just got to say that because people are going to see her and think, oh, she's trying TV. No. She went to school for television.
Yeah,
She's been doing this. Yeah. She took a break to have children, but don't put her in that box of, oh, she's just an Instagrammer trying to do TV. No, she went to school for this. My bad, baby. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate you. Thanks for bigging me up. That's why I keep them around. I love it. But no, now I feel like it's finally my time to be able to tap into that area of my life that I've been wanting to do so badly for so long. Okay. And I felt like God just placed me in the perfect opportunity at the perfect time when now I've finished physically having children, but of course still being an active parent. But I'm able to finally feel so alive in a space that I feel like I belong in. So that particular project I can't wait. Hopefully y'all find out about it sooner than later. And just when it happens,
we can't talk about it. That's why it sounds so vague.
I know.
Because we were given
secret,
details.
One detail, one something. This is exciting.
Soonish.
We'll wait.
Okay. It'll be worth the wait.
And it's not a small role.
I promise.
It's not a small role. She had to take a big bite out of this.
I did. And I prepped really hard. I put my horse blinders on. I got back with my acting coach.
Shout out to Leland.
Yeah, shout out to Leland Thompson. He's amazing. And I just tapped back into my instrument. I thought it was rusty. I didn't know if I could revive it, but baby, sure did.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. We'll bring you back to talk more about it when you guys have more details.
I definitely would.
We'll put a pin in that one.
Yes.
Now, you guys are co-producers on a Broadway show.
Yes.
That has been doing amazing work. Grosses or the top grossing play in Broadway history.
Yes,
we have Denzel Washington, among other people involved with this project.
Yes.
Tell me more about it and how it got to this level.
So it's Othello, directed by Kenny Leon. It's also starring Jake Gyllenhaal opposite
he's a beast
Denzel
too.
Washington.
Jake is awesome.
It was a great opportunity we had, not only to learn about the business, but also to be pioneers. There are not a lot of black producers in the Broadway space. There aren't a lot of black productions who can make it and survive because no one is putting up the funding for them to have an opportunity. So when Kadine and I first heard about this, it was like, well, let's see how we do.
Yeah.
Because if we happen to become Tony Award winning or Tony Award nominated or the highest grossing Broadway play ever, now we can go find some people who aren't Denzel, who aren't Jake Gyllenhaal, and say, you have a production, let's take a look at it. And then we could take those same finances and say, we're backing this person.
Right.
And now they can't say, well, who are y'all? Well, we are the same people who helped produce Denzel Washington and Kenny Leon. So for us, it's an opportunity to grow in that space for black creators.
Yeah, and nothing that we do is ever just random. Like everything's strategic, and we want to be people who help to open the doors for others because that's happened with us, right?
Yes.
People have given us opportunities. So we're always forward thinking about how this particular opportunity can help advance more people like us. Yes. And we're also students of the game, students of the art. Like it was just amazing to sit there opening night, and just watch Denzel on stage, a legend, alongside Jake, who was amazing. Dress rehearsal, we were there for opening night. We have Spike Lee here. We have Angela Bassett there, Martha Stewart, Joe Biden. Like we were in a room of people who we admired for so many years.
It was crazy.
And we just felt like that's a space that we belong in.
What would you like to do next in that space? I know you have ideas, but if you could put like maybe a genre or like a focus, what would that look like for you guys?
Well, for me, I have a buddy who writes. He's a playwright. Also, a couple buddies who playwright. One, he actually wrote Thoughts of a Colored Man. And I would like to be able to back these young men and women in their projects in the future. I want to be able to be the go-to. It's like, we need some funding. Let's go to Devale and Kadine.
Yeah.
Because if it isn't for a Tyler Perry or a Robbie Reed or a Kim Coleman, there is no Devale and Kadine. Those were the people who broke through the ceiling and then pulled us along. So we just got to do the same thing. That's really it.
Absolutely. That's how I feel too. Like both of us are locked in on the same kind of vision for sure.
You guys really see eye to eye and really have the plan and are such a power team that makes things happen. It's amazing.
Literally,
Since 18.
Our first date, like we talked about what we want to do, and Devale was like that. He pointed to the TV and it was Martin on the screen. He's like, I want to be an actor. And I was like, really? I was like, I want to be on TV too. I'm like, I've been doing it for years. I've been in front of audiences. Like, this is where we're supposed to be.
And what did you say?
Dream chasing.
I
said, how we gonna do it?
How
we gonna do it?
That's
we
how we
over
got the
me.
book. We over me.
Yeah.
That's how we got our book title. Was I remember that conversation? Kadine said, how we gonna do it? And I was like, she didn't laugh at me and say, "Oh, you want to be on TV?" She included herself in my dream. I said, "Okay, so now it's our dream.
Right.
This is what we're going to do.
This is the collective dream."
And we've been doing it ever since.
And just how do we navigate? And that's what we've been doing. So We Over Me became a New York Times best-selling book. Shout out to everyone who has it on their shelf. It's great. Yeah. And this one might be writing a new book too.
Great, because that was my next question. I'm happy you talked about it. So give me more details.
So yes, I am actually writing a book. I'm writing a book. I got the title and everything. It's called Raising Kings: How Fatherhood Saved Me from Myself. And it's an approach book. It's not a how to be a best dad. This is all of the trials and tribulations I've gone through being a father, the mistakes I've made, the triumphs I've had. But this is just a way for people to go back and say, okay, Devale did this, that didn't work. He did that, that worked. It's just an example, similar to We Over Me. This is how I did it, like unapologetically. I'm not perfect, but this was how I did it.
Yeah. What's the biggest advice you want to give fathers out there with, especially young kings? What is the one piece of advice you want to really give them, make sure they really understand and own in on?
Apologize to your kids. Like, I grew up in a house where my parents didn't apologize because they felt like I'm a parent. And it bothered me. And then as I got older, my father and my mom started to apologize for stuff they realized was wrong. And I was like, can you imagine the power if you would have apologized to me in real time? And I apologize to our sons all the time. And the best part is Jackson, I apologized to him for some mistakes I made. He said, well, Dad, you're not perfect. You tell me not to be perfect. So why are you walking around trying to... When I tell you I cried, because I was like, man, I'm raising the type of young man that understands humans. We're not perfect, you know? And I just want people to walk away with that. Like, give each other some empathy, man. Love each other, hug each other. You know, walk away feeling better. You know, that's what I want for people.
Life is fleeting. Enjoy it while we can, right?
Facts.
Absolutely. And for you, and from your perspective as a mom, that you've been focusing on your family for so long, and now you're branching off into other things. What is a piece of advice that you want to give other moms who are really, I guess, struggling to balance the two or figure out how to bring back their career into the mix?
I think was it Michelle Obama that said you can have it all, just not all at the same time?
Yes.
And that always rings true to me. But in those moments where you're trying to have it all, be intentional about being present. Because that was always my fear about trying to tap back into my professional life and my career, was that it was going to take away from my place in the home, which is so vital. And I notice the difference when I'm not there and how much my kids cling to me when I am. So my advice would be to be intentional about being present in those moments, knowing when to clock out, when to put the phone away, when to just really lock in with your children, and each as individuals, because they're 4 different human beings with different needs, with different approaches. But either way, the love is always the same. So
that is beautiful. Beautiful advice from a great couple that people can really gravitate to. And really quickly, I know we have to get on out of here, but I want to do thank you so much for that.
Yes, I'm actually enjoying this interview. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that coming from, people who know the game.
We know the deal.
And, well, the good, I'm gonna say this on camera so y'all can see it.
Yes.
The very first question she asked was, how do you pronounce your name? A lot of people don't even ask that question because they've never been to journalism school. They don't understand the importance. The fact that you went to school to study this made me feel comfortable. But then you asked different questions. We've been doing press for 2 days, and we get the same questions. They're not thought out. No one really wants to know. They just want to sit down. These are good questions because I'm thinking like...
Because journalism is a lost form, I feel like, nowadays.
It is.
Okay?
It is.
Hello? Anyone with a camera and a microphone is like reporting on what exactly with no facts, no thought. So we appreciate you doing
do
that
appreciate
with
you
us.
guys. I really do appreciate that.
You're an awesome interview.
Thank you.
So we're not rushing. Go ahead.
Okay, great.
Exactly.
So I'm going to ask some questions. I know it's, we over me, but I want you versus me. On these questions for these games. All right.
This is a game.
Okay.
I love to close out with a little game.
Let's do it. Let's have a little fun with this.
See.
All right. You're just going to see if it's you or if it's your partner. Feel free to say their name or point to them or, say what you want to say.
Love it.
Who is most likely to plan a spontaneous romantic getaway? Oh, I love it.
Absolutely.
As soon as you said getaway, I knew what it was.
Get me away.
I love it. You got to have a little trip sometimes.
Baby or two.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Who is most likely to initiate a cuddle session?
Cuddle?
Oh, cuddle.
Cuddle.
It depends on where the cuddle is going.
You say something else.
Cuddle, then
then it progresses.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Who is most likely to try a new food when out?
Yeah.
Oh, man, okay. Come on.
Listen.
Something, okay. Who misses the kids first when on vacation? Really?
I feel like you.
You the first one to be like, No, you know
no,
what?
Devale will be FaceTiming through the airport the minute we land.
Right. God.
It's Devale.
Okay.
Because we don't even leave yet, and I'm on the phone with them. You right?
And
Okay,
I'm right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Right behind.
Right behind. Right. I know it's right there. But sometimes someone will verbalize first. Like, I miss the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that though. It's great. Who is likely to spend more money? What are you shopping? What are you buying?
Trips.
Ooh, that's worth the money every time.
Trips and food because we have to feed 4 kids. Okay. He recently said, "Why is the personal American Express bill so high?" I said, "Have you seen the cost of eggs lately? Have you seen these grocery prices?" And he does not go to the supermarket. No. I do. So yeah.
Okay, makes a lot of sense.
She definitely spend more money.
For sure.
I love it. Who is most likely to forget to pay a bill?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Spend the money.
On it, yeah.
Somebody
checks the accounts every morning.
I check every morning.
Checks and balances, right?
I love it.
Dollars and cents.
Makes sense. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is most likely to laugh at the wrong moment?
Oh, no, that's both of us.
Depends
we
on who
both
I'm
clowns.
with.
Mm-hmm.
If it's you and your brother and your sister, forget about it.
Yeah.
And if it's me and my brother and sister, forget about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I love it.
What wrong
I think if we're
moment,
together and it's a wrong moment.
If we're together in the wrong moment, you.
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, my face usually says it all. Yeah. I wear my emotions on my face.
I love it. Who is most likely to forget where they park?
I don't forget anything.
I guess I'll take that. But I'm spoiled by the little chirp
I'm on
thing.
security.
That's true.
I'm on security detail at all times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I always
Head
know
on
where
a
we
swivel.
at. I'm always
you gotta
there.
be
That's
alert.
true.
Makes
That's
sense. And lastly, who is most likely to binge a show in one day?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
I love TV.
Yeah, that's Devale.
Favorite show?
Me and Matt will sit down and watch. Right now, my favorite show is, well, I'm going to say Sisters and Zatima because,
Obviously.
but I watch the shit out of Paradise.
Paradise
It's
is good.
It's very
I'm
good.
waiting to
And
watch
we
it.
love us
So
some
good.
Sterling.
I do love
The
Sterling.
homie, he's great.
Sterling is good.
Yeah,
You
I like
watch
Survival of the Thickest.
Yeah.
That's like my new favorite right now when I'm on the treadmill. I'm like, I can just fly by some episodes. Yeah,
That's a lot of fun.
She's dope.
I love it.
And we out here surviving, right?
Hello. In Paradise too.
Period.
Fact, there we go.
I like
See
it.
what you did there.
I love it. Well, Devale and Kadine, thank you guys so much for coming into the
It
studio.
was such a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait to be back.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll be back soonish.
Yes, soonish. We'll wait for those details.
Once deadline drops the article, then you can go talk about it.
We'll have the team circle back with you.
I love it. Absolutely.
This
And
was
speaking
great.
of deadlines and things dropping, when does this next season of the podcast air?
April 16th. You can listen wherever you catch your podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, it doesn't matter. But you can watch it the following Monday, which would be the 21st, I believe, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes, you can watch it
Come
on
on,
YouTube.
y'all.
I love it. How can people follow the podcast and you guys as well on your journeys?
Yeah, so the podcast page on socials will be Ellis Ever After Podcast. You can find me at Kadine I Am. So it's my first name, I Am.
And I am Devale, and if you're listening on Apple, I'm so used to doing.
He went right into podcast mode.
I love it.
And if
I
you're
love
listening
it.
on Apple Podcasts, be sure to
Rate, review, and subscribe.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Do you want to add any last words?
I was going to say, grab your copy of We Over Me if you haven't. It's still out there in bookstores everywhere.
Yes.
Amazon has it. It's all over the place.
And once again, thank you for having
Yeah,
us. This was
absolutely.
Thank you for
pleasant.
an awesome time.
This was super pleasant.
Yes.
Absolutely. Happy to have you guys in studio. Once again, Alexandria Camoni, iHeartRadio.